And this is intended to be the easiest way to introduce AI into your business or your role. My name is Chris Daigle. I'm the CEO and co founder of ChiefAIOfficer.com, where we educate, train, certify, and provide software for people just like you, individuals who want to be the leaders at bringing AI into small to medium business, into their role, individuals who recognize the impact that AI will have, uh, more time available. You'll create more time, you'll create more revenue, and you'll create more enjoyment from your role or your business by leveraging AI. Now, what qualifies me to teach this? Well, I've been a serial entrepreneur for almost 25 years now, and I've done everything from launching and selling software company, uh, managing my own private investments. For a number of years, I was a hired gun for introducing frameworks that scale companies without friction and drama. Companies like Digital Marketer, companies like Agora, companies you may have heard of. I regularly guest lecture at events and business schools on topics related to business, including AI. I'm a husband and father of five, and obviously an AI enthusiast and educator. Now, there's several reasons people watch this training, and you're in the right place if you fit into one of these categories. If you've got aspirations for AI and they're to increase your economic viability, your career trajectory, or your billable rates, you're in the right place if you recognize the need that you need to have tactical know-how and excellence with the AI tools. If you know the importance of having a plan before you just jump into starting to introduce AI into your business. If that's you, then you're definitely in the right place, because in this training, you're going to discover the easiest way to use AI in any business or role. And today, we're going to actually teach you the exact tools we use and exactly how we're using them. So, this is a different perspective, but I want you to look at this like you're investing in yourself. And I want you to show that investment by committing to staying through the training today, because as I mentioned, at the end, we're giving you a brand new AI powered prompt engineering software tool that we've been working on for months. It's ready to release. Uh, you will be one of the newest users of this software. And at the end of the training today, we'll actually spend a few minutes helping you set up your account and show you how to start using it today. Now, in my opinion, look, prompting isn't the end all be all of being knowledgeable with AI, but it is a regular part of what you will be doing. And this tool takes your prompt engineering learning curve from months to minutes. I'm not kidding. It's the power of AI, right? So invest the next hour in your future and I'll make it worthwhile, I promise. Now, let's get you tuned up on AI, shall we? And that starts with me telling you why we do this using AI at Work challenge. If you're here, I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of time trying to convince you that this whole AI thing is going to stick around, right? If you didn't already know, by the end of this training, you'll have no doubt that generative AI gives an advantage to those who know how to use it, those who know how to wield it, those who know where to use it in a business, as compared to those who don't know anything about generative AI. And you may have seen the saying or heard the chatter about you won't lose your job or your business to AI, you'll lose it to someone who knows AI. I want that someone to be you. This training is a big step to getting you AI literate, AI enabled, and I'm super confident that that's going to happen for you if you pay attention, you stick around, you ask questions. But let's be real though. Yes, there's definitely huge opportunities for those who are, we'll call it AI enabled or AI powered, but getting there is not necessarily all smooth sailing. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all of this AI stuff, you're not alone. The vastness of this generative AI landscape is daunting. Every day brings new chat, video, voice, image, uh, AI models, new methodologies, and what seems to be a constant pressure to stay ahead. Not even stay ahead, but just not get left behind. But if you're here, you're probably highly motivated to figure this stuff out ASAP. You see the potential. You know that mastering AI could change everything for your small to medium business, your role, or your career, turning you into an industry leader. And if you're here, you want those results now, just like me. However, there's probably some hurdles you're facing. There might be some concerns about technical complexity. Maybe you're of the belief that you don't have the technical expertise to really master the application of AI in your business or role. Not today, Charlie. This is built by and for non-technical business people, as I shared that with you. If you were able to log in here, you've got all the technical savvy that you need to start using this. It's about the way you think. It's not about the tools. Maybe you might feel like using AI in the business is trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And what I mean by that is that maybe you're trying to integrate cutting edge AI into existing business systems or hold out IT cultures that make you feel like you're speaking a foreign language, right? It's frustrating to know that there's this major benefit here, but maybe you're concerned about your own tech stack or your own processes internally. Will they accommodate AI? A big one that we hear a lot, and it's more and more all the time, is the data privacy minefield. Most companies out there that are letting their employees use AI have zero AI use policies or guardrails in place. Now, without a clear plan here, you or someone in your company can make a mistake without even realizing it. Now, we're going to cover the CYA of all of this during the challenge. Now, maybe it's none of those things, but maybe you got some worries. Maybe there's some FOMO, because in a field that moves at warp speed like AI and business, the fear of being left behind in the digital dust is ever present. It's the anxiety of blinking and missing the next big leap forward. And trust me, that is a regular occurrence in the AI space. Maybe you're concerned about, what if after all the time and resources that I'm investing in myself and buying courses and spending the time teaching my team, that AI ends up not coming through for you? That would be a huge wasted and costly opportunity for you. Or maybe you're just like, I don't know where to start. Here's what I can tell you. No framework for deployment equals a hot mess. The real concern that you find a couple of areas of the business that are really benefiting while the rest of the company looks on with jealousy, if you don't have a holistic framework for using AI in your company, that's going to happen, and there's going to be a culture divide. The AI enabled and the extinct, all right? But here's the thing. All of those concerns, I understand all of them. We get it. We know what's keeping you up at night. We're here to tell you that you're not alone in this journey, and it's not as hard as you think. So let's get started. I'm going to share with you the minimum of what's required for any business or business person that wants to be competitive in 2024 and beyond. But I want to clearly set the table stakes for this new paradigm of business that involves generative AI. And I mentioned it just a moment ago. We call it AI enablement or extinction. So, and look, don't just take my word for it. Let me introduce you to well-known futurist Peter Diamandis. Some of you may already be familiar with him. He's the founder and chairman of the X Prize, which they're the pioneers in civilian, commercial, and recreational spaceflight. He's also co-founder and executive chairman of Singularity University. Now, this is important because this is where businesses look for indications of where the future is headed. And over the last several decades, the Singularity University, with their forecasts and predictions on technology and how it's going to impact business, they have an astounding documented 86% rate in their predictions for the technology's impact on business, health, longevity, you name it. These folks know where the future is going. He's also written 2 New York Times bestsellers, kind of teaching you how to see around corners and know where the trends are heading. There's no question that Peter has his finger on the pulse. But I found this very interesting. Here's what Peter has to say about AI in business over the next few years.
What I say is there are 2 kinds of companies by the end of this decade. Those that are fully utilizing AI and these exponential technologies, and those that are out of business. That's it.
I mean, this was recently, I say recently, it was featured, this message that went out with Peter saying this, over 2 million views. But the scary part is that this interview was from about a year ago. And I want to ask you, how much progress have you or your company made in that time? A year ago may not seem like that much, but let me tell you, in AI, people talk about internet years. AI is even faster than that. It's pretty insane. So look, you're probably saying, okay, Peter, I believe you. Let's cowboy up. Let's start deploying AI ASAP. All the research indicates that the executives and the leadership, they see the positive impact that Gen AI is having, and they want it. But they can't find the experts, the subject matter experts, the domain experts who they're AI literate, that are AI enabled, that are able to look at the business domain through an AI lens. I mean, recent research from Deloitte shows that the C-suite executives surveyed estimate almost half of their workforce is unprepared for the future. McKinsey, same thing, a 50% deficit in talent versus demand for what they called an AI builder, right? So that's what we're teaching the chief AI officer, the AI ops person, the AI expert, the AI builder. It's the same name, the same terminology for, or different names, different terminology for the same context, the same contribution. So what we're teaching you is how to be that person that sits in this deficit of talent versus demand. So let me ask, well, what's the fix? Well, going back to Peter, Peter actually has a suggestion about what we can do about this gap. And we tend to agree with his opinion.
As somebody who's deploying AI as rapidly as humanly possible, and I know that people have a lot of anxiety around this, it still, for all of AI's immediate uses, it still seems hard to imagine that big leap. How should people be using AI right now if they want to be on that path?
So one of the things I'm doing in the companies that I'm running or advising or investing in is I'm saying, first of all, every company needs to have what I call a chief AI officer. And it's a role I made up, was teaching at Abundance 360 this year. And it is not someone who's building a large language model for you or writing code for you. It's an individual who understands what's going on in the terrain, because we're seeing not hundreds or thousands, tens of thousands of startups. Everybody, you can start an AI company now with literally spare time in your garage. So understanding what's out there, what the modalities are, and what you can and should be using is critical. So your chief AI officer is scanning the horizon, understanding it, and then advising members of your team.
So I want you to think about that. At no point did he say you need to have a master's degree in advanced mathematics or computer programming or anything like that. As a matter of fact, his definition of this role of this AI builder, this chief AI officer, is somebody who's not technical. They're not going to come in and fine tune a large language model or, conduct massive data analysis. And I think the reason we believe that's the case, and I think that's the reason that Peter feels the same way, is that most small businesses don't have the need for that. There's more fundamental issues that they need to address as compared to, how do we extract business intelligence from our massive data pools? Most of us don't have those. Most of us need to learn how to use the tools now that impact our processes, our workflows, the amount of time we actually spend at work, not the geeky stuff. And for any data scientists or machine learning experts that are on this, you're welcome to be here. And I think that you're going to learn a lot, not because you don't already know a lot about AI, but this is the other side. Traditionally, a chief AI officer, everyone just assumed that was a technical role. Not so anymore. With the introduction of generative AI, this is a role that any business, any company, any individual can use, execute. You don't have to go off to college to, study computer programming or anything like that. You don't have to do that. Now, you've probably attended some AI trainings or done your research on YouTube, and you're seeing a lot of what we like to call the candy. And what I mean by that is that people love, like, I would imagine, I'm not on TikTok much, but I would imagine that TikTok's full of clever tricks that show you the power that AI has to simplify a process or introduce massive leverage into your effort, right? I mean, look, I call them candy because they're fun, but they're not very filling. Candy's cool, but but like having a library of all of these little hacks is not the secret to being good at using AI at work. The secret is being someone who knows how to make the candy, right? It's you having to go find somebody, oh, how did they do it? Let me follow that, versus you having the understanding of, here's the issue in our business. Well, solved. You become the candy man or candy woman, I guess. Like if you go into a client's office or your boss's office and all you've got is some magic tricks, you're going to look like a clown. We prepare you to go into that same office and say, okay, everybody, sit down. I'm going to help you figure out the best opportunities for you to leverage generative AI. We teach you how to think in AI. And let me tell you what that concept is. At some point, Chief AI Officer is our company. And the abbreviation is CAIO. And at some point, I realized that that's very much like a person's experience. They're messing around with AI, they're on the computer, and then somebody comes up and shows them. They go, see, AI. And the person has that, oh moment. Now, that oh moment is the start. You being the person that can help other people have that oh moment, that's when you're thinking in AI. And I want you think that oh moment, you think like they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Some yes, but some people their reaction is, oh, and my competition has access to this, and I'm not doing anything about it, and they are. Like it's not a happy awareness that they have. It's like we better do something immediately, right? So our methodology that we're going to be running you through, and which is the framework for everything you'll learn over the next few days, teaches you the tools and tactics so that you're familiar with what apps to apply, what AI powered tools there are, where to apply them, and when to apply them in a business. But we also teach you how to develop an AI business strategy. This is simply identifying the goals a company has and overlaying the tools and tactics that you've learned on top of that. And when you can review their goals through the filter of the tools and tactics, you're able to help a company achieve their goals with higher velocity because of those tools and tactics. So over the next 3 days, let me just say that after finishing these, you'll be recognized as having an extremely sought after skill set, rock star status in the world of business. Every company wants AI and they want it now. And this training is a fantastic start. Although technical topics are covered, it is designed, as I said earlier, with the non-technical business user in mind. Now, coming from that definition of the Chief AI Officer over the next 3 days, we're training you to develop an AI business strategy, drive the implementation of the strategy through internal teams or external vendors, and to get results. You don't need to know tech. You need to know how to help companies get what they want from their business when it comes to AI. So over the next 3 days, on day one, we'll be covering tactics and tools essentially. On day two, we'll be developing the AI business strategy. Now, you'll leave with a clear understanding of exactly where you need to get started to do AI safely, low risk, high impact. We'll show you exactly how you can figure that out to start in your own role or in your entire company. And then on day three, now what? Using what you've learned. So on day three, you'll know more than most executives do out there currently about the use of AI in business. Now, what do you do with it, right? How do you maximize your economic viability, your career trajectory, your revenue growth, whatever it is that's your target on learning these skills? We'll walk you through some of the options that exist out there currently in 2024 and beyond for individuals who are going to possess the know-how that you're about to learn. So, AI, 2 letters, infinite potential. If you're on the chat real quick, post 1 to 10, 10 being an AI superstar, 1 being, I don't know how to spell AI. Let me know what's your level of comfort or familiarity of using AI in your business or role. And then what we'll do is it just helps me kind of understand where to take the direction of things. Okay. So as you're doing that, and again, if you are not able to, if you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, I guess, you can join in the conversation by going to our Facebook group. You can go to facebook.com and just type in using AI at work in the search bar. It'll bring you right to our group. Or you can go chiefaiofficer.com/Facebook. So let's get started addressing the fundamentals of using AI at work. A simple definition of AI is teaching machines to act like humans, to perceive, to learn, to reason, to even correct errors. AI is all about developing intelligent machines to create systems that can imitate human thinking and behavior. But since we're focused specifically on AI's business applications in this training, today we're not going to spend a lot of time focused on the technical how of AI. Instead, most of the time will be spent on focusing on the why. Now, at this stage of AI capability, you're most likely to find scenarios where a human, augmented by AI, is probably the best solution for use cases you'll encounter. You'll hear us use the term for that. We'll call it augmentation, or we'll also say human in the loop. To start, you shouldn't view the goal of AI as trying to make our machines more human. It's the goal of AI in business is to make our human tasks more manageable, more enjoyable, getting the stuff we don't want to do off of our plate so that we can focus more on the higher leverage, higher mental requirement activities and not the mindless, brainless stuff. We're teaching machines to recognize patterns, to automate our tasks, to reduce our errors, and to increase and enhance our efficiency. But the true why isn't in the tasks themselves. Now, let's consider some real world examples that you're already familiar with because you are already using AI, whether you've been resistant, whether this is the first time you're hearing about it. AI has been a part of your life for a number of years now. An example most of us can relate to is Amazon and their recommendations for additional products that their AI predicts you may be interested in. Yes, it enhances my user experience, your user experience, but it also boosts sales. And in Amazon's case, this simple AI algorithm is increasing customer spending by about 30%. It's huge considering that Amazon does in the billions. Alexa uses natural language processing where it takes your voice, processes it through AI, and gives back voice for voice to voice processing. Siri, the same thing. They're all AI powered. And we could go through a ton of other everyday experiences that you're having currently that are AI powered, whether you know it or not. So get over the curve of, well, AI is coming. No, not only has AI been here, but it's what we have now is a level of application and impact that we've never seen before with just the data side. This generative is really opening things up. Now, some of the concerns, I don't hear them as much, but when AI first came out, everybody was worried about the Terminator and Starnet coming online and all this kind of stuff, right? There was a lot of concern about the levels of artificial intelligence and its capability. So let's break that out. Before we do that again, join us on Facebook, chiefaiofficer.com/Facebook, and you'll be able to chime in with the chat. So the first stage of AI is artificial narrow intelligence. That's what we find ourselves now. This is our primary focus for this class because this is the version of AI that is starting to get wider use in business. It's AI that's specialized to perform a specific, aka narrow, task very well, like digital voice assistants like Siri or Alexa, image and speech recognition like Google Translate, these AI-powered chatbots that we interact with, predictive analytics, all of those four sorts of things. Some examples that you're probably already encountering or maybe even using in your business when it comes to artificial narrow intelligence, maybe customer service chatbots. If you haven't had the opportunity at first, look, I'll be honest, even though I'm an AI expert, I'm using AI in my business and helping others do it in theirs, the AI chatbot, I was like, I'd rather talk to a human. Now, not the case. Still love humans. However, the chatbot gets me my answers so much faster. And if you're not using these on your sites, your sales pages, anywhere that your customers are interacting with your business or your brand online, huge opportunity. Here's a common example of narrow intelligence: email spam filters, credit scoring. You might be able to thank AI for all those credit card offers that you get because in the financial industry where I came from, AI is used to determine likely credit scores of somebody, not their actual, but likely based on their behavior to predict their creditworthiness. In advertising, some of you may be agencies or digital marketers. Ad targeting, incredible. Artificial narrow intelligence is kind of making some portion of that agency role obsolete. Now, the next phase would be artificial general intelligence. Now, this is the level at which it's predicted that artificial intelligence will be on par, at parity with human capabilities that can understand, learn, apply knowledge in a way that really mimics human intelligence across a broad range of disciplines. It can do everything you can do except run the 100-yard dash, right? Until they get into the robots I've seen. It can reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn from mistakes, use language naturally. Um, maybe you think, oh, that sounds like a bit of a stretch. It's going to be a while before that happens. You may not be aware of this, but the achievement of artificial general intelligence is the openly stated goal of companies like Facebook Meta, OpenAI, and other well funded major players. We may not have that yet. They may have it. They just haven't released it to us yet. But all of them are striving for this level of capability with AI. And again, that's called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Now, Peter Diamandis' Singularity University, remember, they had an astounding 86% accuracy when predicting how technology was going to impact business, longevity, health, things like that. 2029 or sooner, possibly sooner. Now, the next level of capability is where things get kind of freaky. Timelines for achievement of artificial super intelligence are uncertain, but a common belief is that there's a 50-50 chance by 2040. Now, I've also heard it said that because of the speed at which AI improves itself, that at midnight, let's say at midnight, we achieve artificial general intelligence. AI is now thinking and able to behave. Again, can't run the 100-yard dash or take you out to go eat, but it can do everything you can do in a knowledge work environment, right? Because of AI's ability to improve and constantly be learning, at 12 o'clock, we'd hit artificial general intelligence, but there's many that predict at 12:01, it's already smarter than the humans. And that's at the point that we reach this artificial superintelligence. It's a stage of AI capability that surpasses human intelligence and capability across all fields, including creativity, general wisdom, humanities, arts, all science, as well as strategy, problem solving, everything. This is the level of artificial intelligence that significantly exceeds human ability in every domain, resulting in innovations and solutions beyond human comprehension or capability. Now, if you would have asked me a year ago how close we were, with my familiarity with generative AI's application in business, I would have said, we got a while. Every year, every month, every breakthrough that happens, that 50-50 chance by 2040, both the chance for it being achieved increases and the year that it's achieved decreases. We are going to see a point in the next, in this case, 25 years, but 15 years. Faster than that would be my speculation on us achieving and being able to witness artificial superintelligence. Nothing to be scared of. It's not Starnet. It's not the Terminator. It's supporting, things will change, but it's supporting the knowledge work that we're doing now. Okay. Some terms that you may have heard related to this, and this is going to be the most technical part that we're going to cover in this training. And the only reason we're doing that is so that as you're communicating with other individuals, that if these terms come up, you'll understand exactly what it means. Okay. Machine learning, or ML. Let me see a good example of this. Let's say, imagine you have a friend who loves playing with puzzles. All right. You give them a new puzzle to solve, but instead of telling them how to solve it, you give them some hints and you let them figure it out on their own. They try different approaches, they learn from their mistakes, and eventually they put the puzzle together. Now, in this scenario, replace friend with computer program and puzzles with data. That's essentially what machine learning is all about. It's a way for computers to learn from data and make decisions or predictions without being programmed for each task. It's the process by which computers learn patterns from data without needing human intervention. Now, as the machine learning algorithm becomes more familiar with the patterns, it improves its accuracy on which decision it should make next based on what data it's presented with. So what does this have to do with business? A lot. Consider an e-commerce business like the ones we all shop from on Amazon. They might use machine learning to predict the demand for a specific product. The prediction can help the business manage its inventory 20% more effectively, making sure it's keeping up with demand for the better selling products and not keeping as much of the slower selling products on inventory. It's not earth shattering stuff, I understand, but these things matter. And these things quickly stack up to add major value to a company. I want you to consider you do a little bit here, you do a little bit here, you do a little bit here, you do a little bit here. And especially if you can develop an AI business strategy where all of those efforts feed into each other. And the first time you get that 20% more effective management of inventory, hey, great job. But then it's happening over there and over there and over there. And the impact of this, it's almost like a flywheel going faster, 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 faster. That's happening in small businesses right now. It's happening in our business. I've seen the results of what happens when you start from day one with what is this AI stuff, and you do a little bit, and you do a little bit more, and you do a little bit more, and you turn around, and almost your entire business is on its way to being automated, augmented, human in the loop, or pure AI. It's incredible stuff. Okay, without getting too far in the weeds, let's break it down with some business-specific examples of 3 types of machine learning. We've got supervised learning, which is a model that's trained on a labeled data set. Now, what that means is that the algorithm or the AI, the machine, is given a data set where the correct answer is known for each example. And a use case of this might be a SaaS company, right? That's looking to reduce customer churn or reduce customer cancellations. They can use supervised learning to look at behavior of the individuals that canceled in the past and start to identify, is that behavior occurring anywhere else in any of our active customers, right? So it's looking at a labeled data set. This is supervised learning, where the correct answer, these behaviors resulted in churn, result in the AI being able to proactively and preemptively say, hey, you're one of our favorite customers. We'd love to give you a discount, or we've got a special offer for you, or here's a free month. The types of things that keep people to stick around and continue to stay in there. Now, the next phase of, or the next style of machine learning would be unsupervised learning. Now, in this case, it's exactly like you might think. If the other one was the answers for the data, the labeled data set, the no answers are known, this would be a situation where the model would have to find patterns in unlabeled data where the correct answer is not known. It's like asking the model to explore the data and find a structure. And you can use tools like GPT code interpreter. I don't think they call it that anymore. But this is the type of stuff that is built into ChatGPT now, especially with these versions. If you've got the paid versions of 4, or really any of the paid versions of any of the models that are out there, they have the ability to do unsupervised learning. Take in, all of your open click and unsubscribe information for the last 5,000 customers that you've mailed, and look for patterns. Right. Another example: customer segmentation. Let's take that same e-commerce company, right? They can use unsupervised learning to do this. Here, the model would cluster customers based on their features like location, geographic location, frequency of purchase, products that they purchased in conjunction with these. And this is where the machine would start to look for hidden patterns, such as maybe there's specific groups of customers who have a higher cart value or a higher lifetime value that you weren't aware of. With this information, you can now build marketing tailored to target customers who more specifically fit that profile from the beginning, not just in your existing list, but you now start to tailor your marketing to where you're attracting the customers who are going to come in and spend more, stay longer, be happier. Third style, reinforcement learning. This is a type of machine learning where an AI agent learns to make decisions by taking actions in an environment to be rewarded. An example might be, say, let's go back to inventory management. A company can use reinforcement learning to manage its inventory. The model learns over time the best actions to take, like when and how much to order something, to both minimize costs and prevent stockouts. In this reinforcement learning environment, it would make decisions based on the state of the inventory, how much stock is left. It would take actions, order more stock or not, and receive rewards, which would be, in this case, cost savings or faster churn of inventory. Okay. Another term that you've most likely heard is LLM, and that stands for a large language model. Now, at this point in your self-directed pursuit of learning more about AI, you've probably come across the term, and I call them just the models instead of LLMs. Now, you may already be familiar with LLMs that have been trained on all of the internet, like Meta has Llama, OpenAI has ChatGPT, Google they had Bard, they have Gemini, there's Claude from Anthropic, and these are all of them have free versions. Meta's Llama 2 is open source. So in simple terms, an LLM is like a highly intelligent assistant that's been trained on massive amounts of text data primarily. That assistant understands language patterns, meanings, context, which allows the assistant to generate human-like responses and create coherent written content. They can perform like highly intelligent assistants, but just like any new employee, they have to be calibrated. They have to be trained to have the full context of the landscape in which you want to use its power, okay? They're created by teaching computers to analyze and understand vast amounts of text data, like, I don't know, a company's past 10 years of PR communications, their financial data, the last 30 days of customer service chat logs. Here's our corporate brand identity, marketing reports. All of these can be fed into open and closed LLMs. Closed meaning that it's an LLM that's used exclusively for your company. The large language model would learn the patterns and meanings of the words and sentences related to the context of your business, enabling the AI to generate human-like responses, right? And depending on how far you take the training, once they've been well trained, they offer an incomparable potential for any company. Really, they can draft reports, they can write emails, they can do marketing materials with impressive natural language. They can provide instant answers to customer queries like we talked about with chatbots. They can simulate conversations that aren't even happening in the marketplace, but because it understands who your customer avatar is, it can simulate what will our customers say when they see this marketing piece, right? It's incredible stuff. So it just, in essence, LLMs contribute by helping businesses communicate more effectively, streamline tasks that involve language processing, which is in a knowledge, based economy, it's most jobs, and really allow companies to level up their automation of tasks that would otherwise require extensive human involvement. We can talk about maybe some examples of how they're benefiting these. Instantaneous customer engagement is fantastic. Customer hits your site, they want to communicate, they got a question. They're not on your site. The tire kicker, why are they kicking tires? They want to check the tires, right? These people are coming to your site. There's a quote from Glenn Ross. The guy don't walk on the lot lest he wants to buy a car, right? They're not on your site unless they are exploring, they're doing their research on a solution to a problem that they have that they think your company can provide. That is a huge privilege to have somebody land on your website to explore your options. And if, the store is closed, there's nobody there, we'll get back to you tomorrow, that customer will bounce and they will go someplace and they will engage with a customer service bot, whether it's live or not. This is something that you could very easily train and have on your team. LLMs are used, personalized marketing content, right? The more, if you're a marketer, you know that the more personalized the marketing effort is, the better the results are when compared to just general marketing, right? And tailoring marketing content to individual preferences is a key strategy to boosting engagement, increasing sales conversions, everything that you want your marketing to do. LLMs are able to analyze vast amounts of your customer data to generate personalized marketing messages that will resonate with specific, not just all of your customers, but specific customer segments. It's pretty incredible. Obviously, we talked about data analysis and insights, enhanced automation, productivity, so many uses. Now, I mentioned a few of them, but you're already familiar with some of these LLMs. If I know what this one is, put it in the chat box. Hint, it's ChatGPT. Claude has Anthropic. They came out with Claude 3 recently, which some testing indicates is actually more powerful and accurate than ChatGPT's most powerful available model of ChatGPT 4.5 V. There's also Gemini from Google that we mentioned. Some of you may have already seen them trying to roll Gemini out in your Gmail or in your Google Drive there. So again, a large language model is a type of artificial intelligence that uses deep learning and massive data sets to understand, summarize, generate, and predict new content. Large, lots of data it's been trained on. Language, primary data type for interacting with the model is text, going back and forth. Model. A model is just another name for an algorithm or a specific set of instructions that the computer follows. Okay. Now, we're about to get out of the geeky stuff, but I just want to do a real quick recap. You now understand when somebody says machine learning, what that means. We've covered the three general types of machine learning. You understand what a large language model is, or an LLM, the thing that's powering ChatGPT. And you also learn that artificial general intelligence appears to be right around the corner, with artificial superintelligence not that far behind. So the main application of what we're doing, we're going to move from the more data-driven side of AI, and we're going to get more into the context-specific, the domain-specific version.
Can I
Genevieve, do we have
interrupt
some
you with a
questions?
couple questions?
Sure,
Yeah,
love it.
please. So there's some folks that aren't on Facebook that are inquiring about where to get the recordings. So just a verbal for those that aren't able to view the chat. The link is chiefaiofficer.com/VIP-upgrade. And we have a question in the chat about why open source is of note.
Open source is of note because you get to choose what data it gets trained on. There's concerns about using your company's proprietary data in a ChatGPT session. Is that information being used to train the larger model? And if so, if a random person was starting to type stuff, would your input from your proprietary information from your company, would it actually show up as output for some other user? That's the type of concerns that companies are having about these things. ChatGPT, OpenAI, has an enterprise version where they swear up and down that's not the case. However, companies make mistakes. With an open source version of an LLM, that data, you can close it to where it is not interacting with the mothership anymore, right? That it's interacting in your native environment on your data. And look, I'm not going to say it's child's play necessarily. However, I have several friends, AI enthusiasts, but none of us are data geeks. All of us we're business people who recognize the impact this is having in our business and our clients' businesses, right? And they've been able to set these up pretty quickly and pretty easily. So Llama from Meta is the one that most of them seem to be having the best results with. But there's probably a YouTube video where within 30 minutes to an hour, you could have your own open source model downloaded to a local computer and start feeding it, training it on whatever your email correspondence has been, whatever thought leadership content you've created, any of that stuff. So moving on, and Genevieve, please feel free to interrupt me if there's other questions. I want to make sure that was fantastic. I want to make sure everybody's getting their questions answered. So generative AI is the application of AI that most users have exposure to. This is the type of artificial intelligence that can generate, aka create, new content, such as ChatGPT with text, Midjourney with images, or music. There's a new one, Sona.ai, that just came out. It's crazy. The tech is rapidly developing and improving, though, and has the generative AI technology has the easiest application for quick wins. Now, some examples of how generative AI is being used by brands that you're probably already familiar with. They're creating, as we talked about, personalized marketing materials such as emails, landing pages, social media posts, like with Amazon, creating the personalized product recommendations. Generative AI is being used to generate or create new product ideas and designs, to improve customer service, like we've talked about with these chat bots that can answer questions and resolve issues. So generative AI is, I hate to use the word game changer because ChatGPT loves to use that term, but it really is a game changer for small businesses because it allows them to automate and enhance various tasks that aren't usually just specific to my company or your company. They're universal activities that occur in small businesses or roles or teams. Content creation, customer support, the marketing side, search and knowledge base optimization. It's incredible. We're looking at tools now, and we'll actually cover one that we've integrated our Slack, our Google Drive, and a number of other places where we run our company from into one database now. That it's a chat bot. It's a conversational chat bot. And we can go in there, we can ask it questions. Hey, where was that report? And when you consider, and I'm going to reference this fact in a minute when we go over this particular piece of software in our stack, but when you consider that it's been estimated 20% of a knowledge worker's time is spent searching for the knowledge, for the information, for the data to work with. If you can use some of these tools and even just eliminate some of that, not even completely, some of that search for the knowledge, by default, you're getting more done in a day. Even if you didn't change anything else but use one of these tools, now you're getting more done in a day. And guess what? The person sitting next to you, hey, let me show you how to use this. They're now doing it, and they're doing it, and they're doing it, and they're doing it. And you could see just that one tool applied to a business can have truly exponential impact. Generative AI is being used for QA, documentation creation, SOP creation, fraud detection, obviously data analysis, reporting, predicting trends. I mean, it's if you can think of an activity in your business, you and I could sit down over a cup of coffee, and by the end of that cup of coffee, I would have mapped out for you exactly what automation, augmentation, and AI would look like for that particular role. There's no role, there's nobody that said, well, I do it this way. So does AI, right? Like you better learn the tools because you're not going to be able to outsmart them. Now, one of the biggest challenges with getting started and using AI at work, though, isn't just knowing where to start, but which tools to use. And we're going to address the where to start topic tomorrow in detail and make it very easy. I say detail, it's not even that hard once you use our framework, but you're going to learn about that tomorrow. But today, let's talk about the specific tool stack that we recommend for getting started. Even if you're an expert, I guarantee there's going to be some use cases or maybe even some tools that you're about to hear about that you're going to go, oh, I'm going to try that one out. You may have some of your own favorite tools or apps that we don't mention, and that's totally fine. If you found something that's working, keep using it. But what I'm sharing with you here is the foundational toolkit that we use and that we recommend other companies use that will have you AI enabled. So again, generative AI that can generate new content like images, text, and video. Okay. One of the biggest challenges with getting started, again, is this. Now, if you look at this sheet, this image that's on the left side of the slide, I think that came out, a year ago. And at the time, it was like, damn, that's a lot of tools. If you were to look at today's version of this generative AI application landscape, it'd be like the phone book, truly. I find this experience all the time. I'll discover a new tool. I'll go, oh my gosh, it's brilliant. And it turns out there's already 3 or 4 others out there doing the exact same thing. I mean, in this case, like this guy tried 200 AI tools, right? So I'm not encouraging you to necessarily have to do that. If you do like to stay on top of where the tools are going, though, we love Matt Wolf at Future Tools. If you love to find the newest tools, or you're just looking for something to address maybe a business use case that we don't cover in the challenge, sites like Matt's at futuretools.io are a great place to find these types of solutions. You can go in there. They're stored by category. A little advanced warning can be a little overwhelming, especially when your result turns up, your search returns 50 results. Which one's the best? I don't know. You just start trying one, and you'll find that most of these tools have a very fast learning curve for the basics. You can get very tricky with them for sure. And then, if you're looking for an AI use case or a tool to help in a use case for your business that's AI powered, go to Google, right? Though I prefer Perplexity, and that's one of the tools that we're going to show you today. So let's start with the tool stack. GPT. What does GPT even stand for? It stands for generative, pre-trained, transformer. Obviously, the generative, we know what that means. It can create new content. Pre-trained refers to the training on the large data sets. The transformer describes the model's architecture that focuses on complex language tasks. It can transform input to output, right? Now, you've got two versions of this. You've got the free versus the paid. 3.5, if you're just getting, so when I say 3.5, ChatGPT version 3.5 is the free version. There's limitations that come with it. But it's free for the 3.5. So there's no excuse for you not to start to use it. Now, we're going to show you how to use it. You don't need to go in there and start treating it like it's Google and using it for search terms. You'll be disappointed, and the AI will be disappointed in you, right? Like it'll be an underwhelming experience. So there's a specific way to use these chat models, and we'll walk you through that. Now, I would encourage you, if you are using AI or you're wanting to use AI in business or content creation or to really mess around with it, look, $20 a month, right? And I can say that if you're not paying $20 a month for, maybe your favorite is Claude or Gemini or whatever, but they're all about the same price. And if you're not paying for it, I would suggest that you're not quite ready to get serious about it, because the difference between 3.5 and 4, as far as the quality of output, you get what you pay for, free versus paid, right? Now, this is obviously it doesn't have to be ChatGPT. For us, it is, but having an LLM, that's going to be your co-pilot. It's going to be your assistant as you step into this chief AI officer role, this AI builder role, whatever you end up wanting to call it, right? You will find yourself in a situation where you don't know the answer. Guess what? Your little buddy does, right? Like, and if you start to think in AI, as we talked about earlier, you start to think that way, there's no business scenario, there's no issue. Well, I've never done that before. That's okay. ChatGPT has. Hey, I've never done this before, and I need to get this type of result. Like we're going to show you how to do this, but this is the way you need to start thinking about these tools. Not just something where you're going to go in with brute force and you've got a couple of tools that you lean on. No, let the tools do the heavy lifting. Another thing that's pretty cool about ChatGPT, and it's kind of, I guess, the next step in building, your acumen with these models, is to build a custom GPT. It's a tailored version of ChatGPT designed for very specific tasks or domains. So let me give you some examples here. The good news is that ChatGPT has now made this available and free to build for anybody with a paid account. So you have to have a paid account to build them or to use them. Users are building these to do specific things, and now they're available for paid users, other users to use. You feed it unique data like, I don't know, your documents and examples. And then this specific GPT, it's almost like a miniature, your own LLM, right? Because it focuses on specifically the instructions that you're giving it here, and primarily you're training it on whatever data you're feeding it. Now, this can be updated anytime once you've built it with new instructions and data. So it becomes this very versatile task for creating specific content or chatbots. And I'll give you an example, one that we did that I use a lot, called it Style Mimic. And you can see this is simple instructions here. This is all it took to build this. One of the challenges that I've had with content creation using the models is that you end up with what's been called synthetic data, synthetic output. It doesn't feel authentic. Anybody who has spent more than a few hours using ChatGPT or Claude, you can pretty quickly smell, oh, they had GPT do this. They copied and pasted this. So it's very important as the marketplace becomes more savvy and used to it, and the marketplace gets flooded with purely synthetic data from lazy marketers or lazy content producers. The marketplace is going to have a finer sniffer. They're going to be able to tell, okay, this doesn't seem like he wrote that or she wrote that, right? So what I did was I created basically it mimics my writing style. I fed it my top performing emails. I fed it some thought leadership work I had done. And now I can take an article, let's say, and I can say, hey, listen, I'd like to do a blog post on this. It'll take that article, it'll spit out the blog post. Is it 100% in my tone? No. Is it better than a blank sheet of paper? 100%. I would say that at this point, and look, I've asked a lot of like content creators that are using AI, how are you doing it? We're at about 90-95%. So when I put this through this custom GPT now, because I trained it on my voice, the output that I'm getting needs very little manipulation, and it's coming out not seeming synthetic. That's one use of a GPT. If you're creating a lot of content without one of these, and you want it to seem authentic, I would suggest that even if you work with GPT a lot, the best that you're going to get is maybe 70%. It's still going to need a lot of massaging from a human, right? You build these types of things. I was on a demo last night, and a buddy was building one for somebody in his group, and it was a themed travel chat GPT about digital nomad, gay digital nomads. And you could type in, so like you can get super specific. It knew all the places that were the hangouts and the best restaurants, and Bangkok to Boise. It was incredible. And he built this thing in about 5 minutes. The individual who asked him to build that can now take that, and that becomes a lead magnet, right? Give that out for free. Because this is how much it cost me to build that. Nothing. Zero. The cool thing about these, though, is that you can make them private only for use in your company. You can make them to where only if someone has the link, or you can turn it loose to the world and it shows up in the GPT store. In the GPT store, it's very easy up at the top of when you log in. Let me go back a slide. When you log in, you'll see up here where it says Explore GPTs. If you go there, you can go in there. It's got a search bar. You can type in whatever you want. I want to write sales copy like Alex Hormozy. I want a diet built by Iron Man, or the Mr. Olympia. I want to know my mom is into this and this, and Mother's Day is coming up. What should I get? There's GPTs that have already been built by others that allow you to do this stuff. A lot of fun, not very difficult to build. The next tool I'm excited to share with you is Perplexity. I think it's rightfully being called a Google killer. It's kind of a chat bot. Kind of a combo of like a chat interface and Google. And I use it in tandem with ChatGPT anytime I'm doing any deep work, anytime I'm doing any content-based work that's reliant on current events, anytime I'm preparing maybe like sales presentations, pulling recent data, stats, etc. So what I'll do is I'll usually start a GPT session with my intention, but I will use a Perplexity output as the context, as the seed for that thread. You may find that, yes, ChatGPT can go to the internet. Reluctantly, it likes to extract from its existing training data sets usually. So there's this dance that you have to do if you want to get internet results in your ChatGPT sessions. Screw that. Keep 2 sessions open. Go to Perplexity. Bam. I want to show you what the output. Look, everybody knows what this is. It's a Google search result, right? In this case, it's a search result for the term Chief AI Officer. It's helpful. But this is what doing research looks like in Google. You enter your query or your search term. Google returns a bunch of choices, and you do your own research, your own due diligence to kind of figure out, extract the information you want. It's kind of like the do-it-yourself version, right? However, Perplexity is like the done-for-you version of online search and research. So in this case, the same thing. I typed in Chief AI Officer, blazing fast responses. It still brings up the multimodal, the video, and all the different types of things. But what's interesting is that it reads the articles for you, and it gives you a summary of the collective body of work that it did the research on. And as it's feeding you this information, if you have the Pro plan, which I think is about $20 a month, it will give you citations. Oh, this information was compiled from this article. This information came from this article. And you can click right to the article, right? I think that might have been the article where we were featured in Forbes recently. So it's pretty incredible. So you're not just getting a bunch of results, you're getting an explanation of the results. Another thing that I like about Perplexity a lot more is that you'll notice it provides you with a history of your sessions. They're all stored just like in ChatGPT or Claude. You've got a history of your sessions with the models. The same thing is here. So I can go back, and I don't know about you, but I might have 3 or 4 simultaneous sessions going on. And when I say a session, it's not with GPT, and it's not necessarily like, brrr. I'm working on things. So I might do some deep work on this particular thread for a while. Okay, great. Now we're moving on to, we're doing a live event in June. So maybe I'm moving to the live event thread. As I need like a relevant, recent information, that's when I'll go into Perplexity. But now in Perplexity, I've got the same. If I've got 4 or 5 active sessions in GPT, I've also got 4 or 5 active sessions in Perplexity. So look, they're chiefaiofficer.com/perplexity. It's an affiliate program. They'll give you $10. They'll give me $10 in credit. So if you want to try this out on the Pro version, listen, the free version on all of these tools, if you're going to be a light user, no worries at all. The free version, honestly, you'll benefit from the use of generative AI. However, if you're serious about using these tools and getting some degree of mastery with these tools so that you can start applying them, remember, you're the candy maker. You're not the person that's going to like, how do I do this? Oh, I'll do it exactly like they did. You're becoming the person who's, okay, what tools do I have in my toolbox? I can use that one here. I can use that. And then maybe go, you start to put your own stacks together, your own builds together, right? So again, use Perplexity search results as context when you're prompting. You can bring in real-time search results for data points, current events, and et cetera, to have the models do their deep work. This is not like ChatGPT. If you try and treat it like ChatGPT, you'll find that I think it's powered by 3.5, and that's the ChatGPT 3.5 is the engine behind this, I think. You'll find that it's not as good as at the deep work, but it's fantastic at context for doing deep work. Okay. Again, chiefaiofficer.com/perplexity. You get $10 off. Another tool that we use a lot because we create a lot, we're educators. I mean, we apply this stuff, of course, but a big part of the momentum that chiefaiofficer.com is getting is because we're putting out a lot of training, a lot of free training, free content, starting with the podcast. And if you haven't checked out our podcast, simply go to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and just type in Using AI at Work. That's the name of our podcast. But with the podcast and all the content we're putting out, we've created this monster content production process, 95% AI powered. It starts usually with me doing a podcast interview. And from there, each interview, 120 pieces per month will get created across that are platform specific, non-synthetic, like actual valuable content. 11 Labs is one of the tools that's a must-have for us. It's text to voice. And what I mean by that is that you can, let's say you've got a script or a transcript of a call or the Gettysburg Address. You can copy and paste the text into 11 Labs, and it comes pre-built with a bunch of voices, a bunch of character voices, and old man, young girl, English as a second language, whatever the angle was you were looking for, you can find a voice. Or you can take a couple of minutes and you can read a script and train it on your voice. Not only that, but it'll convert your voice, that text, to your voice in up to 29 languages. Now, great, Chris. Well, I'm not doing much business in Mongolia. It's okay. You don't have to. But now you could. And I want to show you an example. The use case for us with this is creating content. Now, what you see here is the output of two tools, castmagic.com and headliner.app. Now, let me tell you what we do with these. So when we do my podcast, obviously we record the audio, we record the video. And with those, every AI tool these days wants to give you a transcript. It's so easy to get a transcript for free. We'll take that transcript and we'll go to castmagic.com. Now, what Castmagic does is it will take your audio or video files and it will extract. We've customized ours pretty heavily, but it will extract content from that hour-long podcast that's specific to a tweet thread, a blog post, show notes, introduction for the episode, top 10 questions that should be like a whole lot of variety of content that gets done. I can't record all of those things. And one of the content pieces that we like to put out are, they're called audiograms, this being an audiogram. So what we've got now is Castmagic. Once my episode goes into Castmagic, the AI does its thing. It's now taking specific, we built, as I mentioned, we customized it with specific prompts. It takes prompts that would be perfect for audiograms and it sends them over to 11 labs. And then in headliner.app, we upload the file. It may sound convoluted. It's a very straightforward process. We'll be able to walk you through it if you had some questions, but here's the output. Here's an example of what hold on a second. Here's an example of what that might sound like. On a recent episode of the Using AI at Work podcast, our guest Joe Stolte had this to say about AI. There's a conversation happening in sales right now, and AI is part of it. I personally use AI during sales calls to tailor responses and drill down. You get it. That wasn't my voice. That came from Castmagic text output run through 11 labs that was trained on really just a few minutes of my voice. And then through an automation gets sent to Headliner to build that post. I'm telling you, look, I don't know the content game very well. I've always been kind of hesitant about it because it seemed like a lot of work. And like probably a lot of people, I thought, well, everybody already knows that, right? Like they don't need to hear that from me. It's not true. All of us possess some domain expertise that we take for granted. Now I can do that one podcast interview. This thing gets done. It looks like I've got a big social media content production team, and that's nothing yet. You haven't seen, we've got some pretty special stuff being created right now that starts in this is one thing. Oh, Chris, I'm not going to do a podcast. No, but the concept is the same. The concept is if I can start thinking in AI, I can start to look around and go, what process? That's a lot of work. Well, what AI tools I can do that. And that saves me that step. Oh, but then I can do that. And that saves me that step. Maybe you're not able to automate, augment, or AIify the entire process, but any little bit that you do makes a difference. And you're like, well, Chris, that only took me 5 minutes. It only took you 5 minutes every time you did it. And you also don't do that step for that thing and that step for that thing and that step for that thing and none of those steps anymore. And that one's been automated and that one's been, it's a process. This gift, this transformation that can come from generative AI. It's not like, you bring the book, slam it on the table and you're done. It's iterations, it's refinements, it's process, but it all starts with you learning how to think in AI. Okay. So the next tool that we use, and that if you're going to be creating any content or any type of, look, a lot of us aren't comfortable in front of the camera. If I didn't have to feed my family, I probably would be not in front of the camera. I've always been the businessman who kind of conducted business in the VIP lounge, behind the curtain, whatever the thing was. I wasn't the person that got out there. Still, not my favorite thing to do. I love educating, but I don't do it so that I can be on camera, right? I do it because this stuff, honestly, it's it's transformational. However, now using a tool like HeyGen, which is text to video, I can very quickly do quick iteration for ad creative. I can create a video ad. I don't have to dress up. I don't have to worry about my lighting. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And let me tell you what I did for this. You can go to HeyGen right now. They got a free account. You can sit at your desk in front of your laptop camera, and you can create a digital twin. It's that easy. However, if you're going to be using it at scale in your business and you want a professional look, they allow for you to do what's called fine tuning. Now, if you're going to do that, they recommend that you pay some attention to the lighting and the microphone. And I guess not even the microphone, really, the lighting and everything that you've got, ideally with a green screen. And I don't have a film studio here. So I called the local studio, and I happened to call, first one I called was the public access station here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And they said, come on down. The studio time is free. I gave the guy $100. He ran the cameras, the whole deal. I ended up getting 3 different versions that were done in a studio. Took me less than, here's how much video they need to train on. About 5 minutes, between 2 and 5 minutes. Not very much at all. So I was in and out of there with wardrobe change and everything in probably 45 minutes, I guess, less. And that was with them giving me a tour of the place. I took the drive back, uploaded it to the computer. That afternoon, I had 3 studio quality digital avatars that I'm going to give you a little hint. Next time you watch the video introduction of a podcast, it may not be me. What I can do now is I've recorded the podcast. I like to record the intros after, because who knows what we're going to talk about. And there might be a nugget that I want to make sure that I introduce in the intro. Hey, listen to this because we're going to talk about blank. I can write it out and run it through 11 labs, and 11 labs and HeyGen connect, right? So now I've got 11 labs using my voice, matching it to a video. And I'm about to show you an example. It's going to blow you away. Or I can do this. I can just get on my phone, hit record, say the same script, and take my actual voice, not the computer generated version of my voice, my actual voice, upload it to HeyGen, and get this result. Let me show you an example. Now, the use case for this was distribution of the podcast. We're testing episode consumption, and we're getting market position ready and brand recognition in different markets around the globe. Testing's early, but it's promising. But Spanish market, French market, German market, Japanese market, Chinese market, all of those now have the ability. Now, here was a test that we did for an introduction to a podcast episode with my buddy Dave Gonzalez, but for the French market.
Aujourd'hui, je suis ravi d'accueillir David Gonzalez, un pionnier du marketing numérique et l'esprit innovant derrière l'Internet Marketing Party. Depuis 15 ans, David est un acteur clé du marketing numérique, organisant des événements.
You get it, right? So that right there didn't require, I think that took about 5 minutes or less to process that episode from English to French. I've already shot the episode. It's already in English. So you could sit there while you're Netflixing, and you can just take this one, process it. Take this one, process it. Doesn't matter what kind of content. It can be a standard sales message that you're doing. It can be your orientation video for your product. It can be a welcome to a new client, any of those things. You can use this video. And again, going back to that concept of personalization, if somebody's thinking, if your prospect, wow, she shot a video, and you used it, like it allows you to use their name. It's crazy. Hey, John, saw that you stopped by the site. You must have some interest in AI. Would love to get on the phone with you if I can help you brainstorm some issues. Just go to blah, 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 right? If somebody sees that individual is beginning to build some affinity for your brand, for you. Oh, you're standing out, and that's what it takes to succeed. Now, here's a new tool that wasn't presented in the last time we did this challenge, fathom.video. And if you go to chiefaiofficer.com/fathom, you don't have to be on the wait list. They'll let you in automatically. It's free. They don't pay me anything. This is just a way for me to kind of hook you up because we've been power users. Now, this is a tool. It's low hanging fruit. Maybe you don't want to mess around with ChatGPT. Maybe like all this digital twin and AI voices and all that stuff. Maybe that's a little too far out, or maybe you think it's just too technical, but I swear to you, it is not. Once you know how, you're going to be like, oh, this is it, right? Easier said than done, I'm sure, from my side. But trust me, if we could spend 15 minutes on the phone, I could have you using all these tools with basic proficiencies. The thing that I like about Fathom is we all do meetings. Maybe some of those meetings are in person. Even if it's in person, you can still use Fathom. However, most of us we're spending a lot of time on Zoom, Google Meet, whatever the case might be, right? So you can use this all the time and it's free. But one of the things that I like about it, and there's a number of them out there, Fireflies and Otter, heck, Zoom does it now. But I'm not a big fan of the process of, okay, great that it recorded, great that it did the AI interpretation of it. But I got to like, where is it? I got to go find it. And I got to reference back to it. Again, this is that knowledge worker looking for that information. One of the things that I like a lot about Fathom is that A, it's free. B, as soon as your meeting is done, it's ready. There's no processing, there's no rendering that needs to take place. Not only is it ready, but it's already run an analysis on your conversation that you just had. And I want to show you an example of. Now, this was I was doing a call. As I told the guy on the call, I only invite friends on my podcast. And what I mean by that is that I don't want just strangers coming on the podcast. I want to get to know you a little bit before I invite you on and share you with my community. And that was one of those situations. It's a new episode that'll be starting soon. But if you can see here, outline the meeting purpose, key takeaways, topics, I can click up here for transcript. If I want the exact transcript and not the summaries. These links over here where it says screen sharing, I can click on those and it takes me to exactly in the video, exactly where that screen sharing started. And it didn't show this here, but you can, if you scroll down, you can run the analysis or the takeaways of your meeting through a bunch of different filters, different sales methods. Like this is a customer service situation, or this was a strategy call. It's got pre-built filters that give you different output, different perspective, different suggestions on what was the purpose of this call, what were the takeaways from this call. And it's free and it's done automatically and it's not intrusive. And when you're done, you can share the link as soon as you get off the phone. You just copy, paste. Oh, here, if you want to look at that. For collaboration outside and beyond the meetings, one of the best tools that I've found. Let's see what else I got on this one. Let's talk about some of the other tools that we use for running our operations. Slack. It's a common tool, but it's way underutilized because it has native automations that integrate with AI. Slack is very AI friendly, and it's allows for you to start there where you're already working, right? We also use High Level as our CRM, and we like it for two reasons. They're very AI friendly, and we actually include a pre-built CRM, customer relationship management tool, for our chief AI officer grads. So whatever we're building to run our business, service, education, all that stuff, and go high level, we can copy that and we can give it to you. And you don't have to worry about the autoresponder sequences. You don't have to worry about the triggers. You don't have to worry about the sales pipelines. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. That's one of the reasons that we really like go high level, because some of you are going to take this stuff and do it in your solopreneur or your own role and just do about your thing and start crushing it. But some of you are going to learn this stuff and you're going to go, I like doing this better than what I'm doing now. Is there an opportunity for me as that AI builder, strategist, tactician, doesn't matter. I want to do more AI stuff. This applies to those individuals who come through, learn our training, learn our frameworks. I got business in a box, essentially. Another tool we like to use and that we're recording on right now instead of Zoom is Riverside. Zoom's great. It's easy. It's accessible. We still do use it, but for instance, I'm not using it right now. Just the experience, the quality of the output, the ease of use, all of those things, the price are much more favorable for us in Riverside. Yes, We do use Zoom. If you schedule a call with me, if you schedule a podcast, we'll do it in Riverside. If you schedule a call with me, a Zoom link will get automatically sent out. It's a standard. We use it. But guess who else will be there on that call with us? Fathom.video. And then this is a new one, Cassidy.ai. And I shared this with you guys. I gave you a little high level of it earlier. Cassidy is a tool. So I've given you our stack. We've got Slack, we've got Go High Level, we use ClickUp, we've got a Google Drives, we've got data everywhere. We're a small business, probably a lot like your business. You're using a bunch of different tools. Cassidy integrates with most of those tools. Your data from your G Drive and from Slack trains your Cassidy bot. So guess what that bot's trained on? Everything in your G Drive, everything in your Slack, everything in the other apps that you integrated. And it's that tool where I can now go and say, I remember Myra was talking about this thing last week, but I can't seem to find the thread. Bing, is this what you're looking for? Or the other day we were looking for maybe a product description or something, and no, it was a logo. We were looking for a logo in our high and low. Cassidy, where's the logo for the blah, 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 blah? It knows. It's indexed all of these types of things. For that type of, we used to have a pretty robust team of human assistants that knew where everything was. It was fantastic. I loved it. Until one of those, the main human assistant, couldn't handle they wanted to pursue different things. We run pretty hard here at Chief AI Officer, and that wasn't the lifestyle that they were looking for. They didn't want to work as much. And man, I instantly lost my human version of Cassidy. Wouldn't you know it? There's tools like Cassidy out there that have been built to replace that role. We can't fire him. He knows where everything is. We can't fire her. We never find that stuff. Cassidy's around. Cassidy and other tools like that. We have another friend, Mariano from Prosperous AI, has built a tool very similar to this called Pi, P-A-I, that sits inside your Slack, integrates with your Google Drive and all of those things. So this is now a thing. It was great that we had the assistant that would join the Zooms. Now these assistants are getting a lot more sophisticated. And of course, Loom. But not for what you think. If you're not using Loom for SOP creation and documentation, then you're not thinking in AI. If you're going to be the person who's going to be leading the charge for AI in your business or role, or for your clients' businesses, the wins come from understanding, well, where do we start? And then what do we do once we know, the email portion or this creative or the marketing stuff, whatever it is. That's great. Okay, but now what? The now what starts with process mining, process documentation, process mapping, right? Without knowing what you need done, you can't really introduce an AI or automation solution. Using Loom, there's a very simple process. Huge time saver. Look, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're somebody where process documentation and process mining hasn't been a big part of what was expected from you. That's fine, but going back to that hot mess, your business is going to be hard to run if you don't have processes in place. You're not going to be able to automate it. You're not going to be able to augment or AIify parts of your business. So let's talk about what this looks like with Loom. All you have to do with Loom is next time you go do a process, turn Loom on and narrate what you're doing. When you're done with that process, hit stop. Loom's going to give you a transcript. You take that transcription. Now, we've built custom GPTs, like I showed you earlier with the style mimic. We've built custom GPTs that will take that transcript and have already been trained on how to take a transcript and turn that into an SOP, well-documented SOP, right? You don't need my custom GPT. You can go out and build your own, or, heck, you can probably find one in the GPT store, right? Don't know the quality. I know the quality of ours, but I don't know the quality of what you might find there. But It's that simple. And guess what? You've now got a documented process. You've got a standard operating process, from a Loom video that took you 3 minutes to record, a transcription that took you 10 seconds to upload, and then you copy, paste, put it in the GDoc, put it in your SOP folder. Next. Now, if you keep this in mind, if you're thinking in AI and you do this, you know what? Let me just take a few minutes now and go ahead and record. I got to do it anyway. Let me record it. Beep, beep, beep. You do that now. I don't have time for that. Trust me. Do it now. You don't have to do it ever again. Or it gets impacted significantly. You don't have to do it nearly as much. As I talked about earlier, the average knowledge worker spends about 2.5 hours per day searching for the information they need, right? So this highlights the importance of effective documentation, document management, and improving productivity in your organization, reducing time wasted on, information retrieval and all of those things. So very simple hack, Loom, free, record the process on Loom, get the transcription, prompt ChatGPT to build you an SOP, or use a custom GPT from the GPT store if you've got the paid account. Pass it through human review, make sure that hits the thing, and you're in business. So now let's talk about prompting. Maybe you've heard the term prompt engineer. Most of us have, and there's all these guides out there with, learn prompt engineering. Here's my 1,000 best prompts and all. If you don't know much about prompting, you might think, wow, that's incredible. What a generous offer this person's giving you. Those prompts are trash. They're going to garbage in, garbage out with these models significantly. The more I found that the best prompt engineers aren't engineers in a traditional sense. They're people who, they're public speakers, they're salespeople, they're copywriters, they're people who put a lot of consideration into the words that they use. Because if you remember what we're doing here, ChatGPT, we're transforming text to text. If I am like a really effective communicator, my prompts will be good enough. If I'm an ineffective communicator, it doesn't mean you won't get what you're looking for, but what it does mean is that there will be iterations. Well, that's not what I meant. I actually meant this. Oh, well, that's not what I meant. I actually meant this. It's just a longer, drawn out process, and you don't have to do that. So our goal is not to make you a prompt engineer. Our goal is to provide you with prompt intelligence. Now, what I mean by that is same thing that we do with like that concept of the candy. Rather than you going out there and getting somebody else's prompts, you learning how to think in AI and be able to create a prompt. So the prompt framework that we use, CAIO, Chief AI Officer, right? Now, actually it stands for command. Now, what we mean by command is that's the command that you're giving the model, right? The instructions, the input. Assess. Did the output that you got from your input, is it on track? If it's not, you recalibrate, you iteate. What I meant was, please include this detail in your output, whatever the case might be. And then once that's done, the iteration is done, you've now got an optimized prompt. So if you can remember CAIO, Chief AI Officer, there's a ton of them out. There's a ton of frameworks out there. This is one. It's cutesy. It follows, our brand. However, those are the steps that we actually follow. Here's the command. Did I get the output that I want? I did. I didn't. Whatever. Iterate. Let's do it again. Let's recalibrate the prompt. And then whatever comes out results in an optimized prompt environment. All the prompts that we use internally and that we provide in our prompt vault software that you'll get access to in just a little bit is all highly calibrated following the CAIO framework. So we'll talk about prompting patterns here. Given the complexity that exists with prompt engineering sometimes and the variety of patterns that you have available to you, it's crucial for new users to start with the ones that are most accessible and memorable, right? One that's very easy is the persona pattern, the act as a. The reason being is that if you tell the model, let's say I was getting a new car right around Christmas time, and I haven't had the best experience with dealership, primarily in the finance office, was where they tend to get you. So once they gave me the agreement, I ran it through ChatGPT. Act as an expert at like an expert. What's that role called? The dealer's finance manager, and review this contract and point out the areas that I need to be particularly aware of that aren't in my favor. Now, in this case, what I did was I took on the mobile version of ChatGPT, which is a free app to download. It has multimodal. Now, what that means is that I can upload different modalities. I can upload a picture. I can upload, obviously, text. I can talk to it. I can actually, hey, ChatGPT, blah, 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 right? And it identified, I mean, what are you going to do? Unless you're going to pay cash for the car, which isn't always the smartest rule. But at least I knew what I was getting myself into. Now, for you, it could be something that's involved with a part of your business that you just haven't had a lot of experience in. Finance, maybe. Maybe you're just like, the books, I hate them. Maybe it's a contract. And again, these things aren't intended to replace your CPA. They're not intended to replace an attorney. And there's plenty of stories, anecdotal incidents where an attorney used ChatGPT and it spit out this beautiful argument, but none of the cases referenced were real. They were all hallucinations. GPT won't always say, hey, I don't know the answer to this. It'll manufacture a synthetic answer. So you have to be careful for that, but this is a pattern here. Another one, let's see what else we got. What's this one? This one would be the question refinement. Give you some examples here, right? Like you're a world-class copywriter who specializes. Oh, this is the example of the other one. Who specializes in men's weight loss diets. So again, I've given it the role, the persona method, right? And then I just give it context. I need you to do this. I need some help here. And you can see in this prompt. Now, is this the best prompt in the world? No, but it's better than a lot of the crap that you get for free in Twitter and LinkedIn. And people are, I'll give you 100 prompts for free. If you look here, what we're doing is we're giving the model the context. Hey, behave in this manner. You're a world-class copywriter, not just in general, but specifically for men's weight loss, right? That's a niche. I need help with an opt-in page for a diet-centric lead magnet, not for emails, not for a blog post. So I'm calibrating this thing. Oh, okay. So it's going to be for an opt-in page. That means it probably needs this many characters and it's going to be formatted this way. I want to give it some details around who it's writing to, right? Men's weight loss for, a 15-year-old gamer is a lot different than somebody like me, who has the executive cushion from sitting for too long or whatever. The intention behind these, though, is to provide it context so that the output that it gets here is going to need, this is the command, right? The assessment that comes from this command is not going to require nearly as much iteration in order to result in an optimized prompt. We got so many of these. So you can see here the role, the context, and the instructions. Okay, with that, speaking of prompting, ta-da, here's your bonus, folks. This is the Prompt Vault software. Currently, if you went to promptvault.studio, the best you could hope for was either to log in, but if you don't have an account, you can't create one. It's waitlist only. We did that by design. We're getting our beta users in to start using this. The initial feedback from, listen, we just released this to our community last time we did this challenge 30 days ago, right? So this is brand new stuff. However, look, I know a lot of prompt hotshots or whatever. This is a tool that they all wish that they had. And when I mentioned it earlier and I said, listen, this tool will take your prompt engineering, your prompt intelligence learning curve from months to minutes, I wasn't exaggerating. So before we go into the demo, though, and give you access, we're going to turn it over to Segovia, Chief Product Officer here at Chief AI Officer. He's been the driver behind this. But before we do that, if you've learned stuff and you want to share it with your team, once again, it's chiefai.officer.com/VIP upgrade. Hey, $49, right? And you're getting some bonuses. This isn't, there's no, like, this is a no-brainer deal. And real quick, Segovia, before we turn it over to the demo, Genevieve, are there any questions that I need to answer related to what we've just covered for today? Okay.
There are no further questions. Go
Thank you.
for it.
Okay, so with the recordings, you're going to get the follow-up webinar that I'll do. I'll do all the VIPs on exactly how to set up your own tech stack, kind of like what I showed you today. And with that, Segovia, why don't you show us the wonder of Prompt Vault? And let me stop
Great,
sharing
thanks.
the screen. And hold on, let me get technically. There you go.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, sounds great.
All right, let's see, this works. Let me share. So as, again, my name is Segovia Smith. I do product management here with Chief AI Officer, and we want to just kind of show you a little bit about the back end of this tool. It's a tool, as Chris said, that I wish that I had, because I think we all kind of walk into the explorative process of prompting in a different path, but we all kind of end up on the same, trajectory at different time intervals. So I like to think about, Google, right? We all became, Google's like a household name. I Googled it, it's part of the lexicon. But who saves their Google searches, right? We don't need the last 10,000 Google searches on where, you went dining for fast food or some restaurant on the side of or gas station or any of the things that you might have, Googled for work-wise or whatever. It's a 2 to 4 word keyword phrase that doesn't have a lot of repurposed value. With prompting, though, we find that we will tend to do like this one-shot style prompt where you just go to ChatGPT, you have a conversation, and then you move from there and you go, well, okay, next one. You grow the muscle, you get a little bit more creative, you figure out how to, get better output from, putting better input. But eventually we all kind of cross the threshold of, I actually think I could use that same prompt, and I don't want to have to prefix, those 300 words of dialogue, or, even those 3 really sharp sentences in the way that I described things, so that ChatGPT can know exactly how to give me the best answer, especially when repeating a process that you'd use over and over again, whether it's customizing a ChatGPT the way Chris was narrating before, or even just for your own, role at work. So we basically created a tool to scratch your own itch, which is, where do we keep these things? And we tend to go into, I'm going to just throw them in a Dropbox or a Google Drive or a spreadsheet, or varying different tools. Maybe Evernote's your flavor of the day, so you put it in an Evernote or a sticky note, or there's so many places you can store your digital stuff. And I've spoken to a lot of our customers and community members, and we all just gravitate to whatever's the tool that's readily available. But that's very limiting in what you can do, and we tend not to go back very often. It's like, I'll keep them because I might use them, but I don't actually use them all that frequently. So you can go ahead and sign up. I'll put a link in the chat when I'm done the demo here. And for anybody that is not live on the Facebook group right now, just a reminder, you can go to chiefaiofficer.com/Facebook, and that'll get you straight into the group, where we will be posting links to things within the live stream here. So as Chris said, if you roll up to the front page at sign in or join the wait list, you got no other options. But once we're going to put the link in the chat, and then you'll be able to create an account. Once you get signed in, the first time you log in, there's a little onboarding video. You can just close that, and then you'll be taken to the dashboard. Now, I think I just switched screens, Chris. Did that show? Oh, there it is. So yeah, there's the onboarding video. And then after you close the onboarding video, you go to the dashboard. So when you hit the dashboard, you're essentially presented with a list of prompts. Now, there's lots of them in here. You can explore them. There's featured prompts, premium packs that we release from time to time. We've got public prompts, which would be, user-generated content from the community. And then this is just a mixed bag of everything. So you can kind of, page through and look for things. You could also say, oh, I want to look for, specifically, maybe you need to start writing some blog posts. You can type in the word blog, do a search, and you'd see, oh, here's some, specific prompts relating to blogging. You can, cancel the filter and move back around. Let's say if you were to go into public, you can explore, what other people are putting out there as content. So if here, in addition to using, you can see we've got ChatGPT. We also have images. These are using DALL-E, and you can filter by categorization. So maybe you want to look at, email or copywriting, or you want to look by occupation. So there's different ways in which you can kind of look through things. What's cool though is right now we're giving everybody 1,000 credits to begin with, which is enough to get you started. And if you choose that, you find this tool to be useful, then you can always invite more people. If you've gotten access the same way, Chris was giving access to people who are using Fathom, you get a little extra bump the line on the wait list. So if you know somebody, if you like the tool, you can invite other people. You'll get credit and they'll get extra credits to be used. So we're not currently in a space to be selling credits. So the only way you can bump up your account is just to invite other people from your team, or wherever else you want to recommend it. So let's say we pop into one of these. This is actually a prompt that I came across, and it was pretty funny between the last challenge that we did. Did you want to jump in, Chris?
No, I was just can't wait to see
cool.
it.
Yeah, so this is just a prompt that one of our users had actually created, and they were like, "Hey, I'm going to promote this on LinkedIn. I want to get some extra, credits." And so they popped this in here. You can see we've got the title, a little description. They've categorized it, and from within there, this is the primary prompt. So create an inspiring image with the size, and then they've got the dimensions, this many pixels for Prompt Ball Studio in pink and black, which are our kind of primary colors. With the subject, and now you can see here what they're doing. They've got these are called parameters. So the parameters, when you put in square brackets like this, and then you put something as the parameter title, and you put in the description or the example of the parameter, it creates these input fields. So, I mean, you could have a prompt technically that has no parameters, but if you want to make them more useful, you can parameterize them, and that will allow other users to come in here and use it. So if I wanted let's just say an 800 by 800 by 800 image, and that would be a perfect square. And then I want to say, what was this before? Young Asian, I'm gonna spell it right, woman, we'll change it. What was it before? And then we'll go, I don't know, age 25. All right, so we've now completed these fields, and we can then run the prompt and see, what it's going to generate. So again, this is using DALL-E. If you're familiar with DALL-E, it's a little bit, subtly different from Midjourney. In this case, we're using the API, so you don't have to go directly to what is that chat tool that you have to use Midjourney on?
Pretty good.
Discord. Yeah, you don't have to use Discord. So I mean, here's the image. I mean, it's interesting. You could spin it. You could regenerate another one. If you didn't like it, you can start another one. You can actually share these as well. So you click up on share prompt. It'll copy the URL to the specific prompt, and you could share it with a team member if it's something you've just kind of created and you want to go through a process. So we'll just see one more come out. Okay, so I mean, we use this. This is something that I was talking to our marketing people and saying, hey, like, this is a great prompt. Let's go ahead and use this when we're promoting the software, as we're starting to build the funnel for some campaigns. And now the person on our marketing team can just come in here, generate a new image, change out a couple parameters, and it's getting our brand style, and it's getting some interesting graphics that we can use on a LinkedIn post in different places. So right now, all we've done is we've explored the idea of, here are the prompts, right? There's lots of prompts in here. If you go to all prompts, you can see last time, I think we had about 100 prompts. We're up to 175. It continues to grow as more users are using this. But you can also add your own prompts. So if I come in here and let's say we add a title, and I was working up something as an example, let's say we're going to do some contest planning. All right, so we're going to use ChatGPT to do some marketing. We want to give it a short description. And I've got one right here. So create a marketing contest to boost brand awareness, engagement, and social shares. Your title really doesn't have anything to do with the actual prompt itself. Neither does the description. It's just a way for people to be able to find it within the, the directory. What is this related to? You can pick, in this case, it's marketing. What would be the occupation of somebody who might use this? Probably, a marketing professional. You can leave them as private if you want to, in which case nobody else can see them but you. You can make them public. You can open source them, which allows other users to duplicate them, copy them, modify them. And if you're working on something, you could leave it in draft. So I'll just leave mine in draft. And so then we can put in our actual prompt. So here's an example. I'll just put in from my clipboard. Where did that go? Here we go. All right, so this is a little bit more lengthy than maybe you'd be writing on your first shot at getting into prompting if you're new to it. But you can see the same idea, right? Act as a seasoned, following the formula Chris was talking about, right? Act as a seasoned marketing professional and assist me in planning an online contest to effectively promote. And now we've got some parameters in here, which you'll see are defined on the side. A product or service. So in this case, it would be a fitness training supplement, which stands out for its unique, and then we want to have like a USP, a unique selling proposition, GMO free and locally sourced ingredients, and is aimed at, and then we define a third parameter, target audience. So in this case, it's health conscious women aged 30 to 40 who are triathlon enthusiasts. And then so that's kind of like the beginning kind of pretext. Then we get into, what do you want back from ChatGPT? So, or Bard or any of the other tools. Right now, we've got ChatGPT here. There's a new feature we're releasing that'll let you interact with other tools and stuff. So, this kind of outlines, I'm not going to read everything here. You can see what's going on, but it's asking ChatGPT for very specific details. What do you want back? What do you want to track? Demographics, how to coincide the timing with other, related seasonal interests or what have you. So when you're done kind of creating your prompt, you just hit, create. It's going to now generate the prompt. It'll save it into your specific private prompt vault. And now you can see we've got our parameters. So we could change those parameters out if we're working with a different client or a different project, or we can just pop in the autofill and run the prompt, and we'll get back the results immediately.
So this is particularly good if you're like me. You've got prompts, or had prompts in G Drive, and you had some in Note, and you had all these different like, ooh, that's a great prompt. Ooh, that's a great prompt. No more. I still had what I've done is I've taken all of those loosey-goosey prompts that I had, and now they're in the prompt vault, my account at Prompt Vault Studio, so that I have one place where all of the prompts that I use for my business are there. Prompts that I have had the team build for other divisions of the business are readily accessible to me. So this is something that, maybe you're not a prompt engineer. Maybe your prompt intelligence hasn't been developed yet, right? It becomes very easy for you to come in here, examples being marketing, content creation, strategy, image generation, all those types of things. This is where you want to be prompting from. We have it connected to ChatGPT 3.5 currently, right, Segovia?
Yeah, right now it's 3.5, and we'll be releasing the option to do 4 imminently. So you'll be able to switch in.
Yep. So look, is this gonna transform your business? No. Is it gonna make AI easily or more easily accessible for you to use regularly? Without a doubt. This is a tool that we find, especially for people who are intimidated by, prompt patterns and things like that. They don't have to worry about it. They can just come in here. They can get what they need. Now, is it 100%? Remember how we talked about synthetic versus authentic and that sort of thing? Some of the output may still need your human in the loop. However, you've got one place to go. The prompts that we've built, we didn't just go, oh, let's just do this. These prompts have been calibrated specifically for small business use, tested for consistency. Like, these are the prompts you'll find in there that are generated by us are world-class level prompts. Other individuals like you can go in there and say, hey, I'm pretty good at prompting. You can make that available to the rest of the community if you want to. So, you can go use somebody else's prompt if they've made it available to the community. You can copy their prompt and improve it for yourself. There's so much that we can do here. Again, prompt engineering, it's not required as much. That learning curve went from months to minutes with this thing. So if there's any questions, post them in the Facebook thread, and I'm going to be monitoring that. All right. And then how will they get their access, Segovia?
Yeah. So I'm going to go, as soon as I get off camera here, I'm going to post that link in the chat while you continue kind of wrapping up the call. So take a look at the Facebook chat. Is it okay if I say it out loud, Chris?
Sure.
Okay. So if you go promptvault.studio, so studio replaces .com, promptvaultstudio/begin, or lowercase begin, that will take you to the registration page where you can go through and you kind of sidestep the front door.
Nice.
And I'll post that in the chat.
How soon will they get access?
Instantly. Yeah. I mean, if you put in you'll basically pick a username and email and password, and then you're in. you can begin using it immediately.
Preloaded with credits for use?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody starts with 1,000 credits, so you can, go to your heart's content, play around, and by the time you get, if you're actually using the tool on a regular basis, you probably would deplete those, but one invite one other person, and you're topped up again.
Yep. So a great way to get some invites, if you're in maybe like a casual user group, you're in an industry group where they're talking about AI, this is a tool, especially if it's free. I mean, just like Fathom, I was like, hey guys, there's nothing in it for me. Go get Fathom, right? It really works for that meeting recorder, meeting assistant. For prompting, look, we wouldn't have built this if this tool already existed out there in the marketplace. It's not there. So you may find that some of the people in your group who are actively wanting to learn or using the tools and the models, they'll love this. Every single one of them that signs up, you get 1,000 credits, right? So it'll top you up. One of the first things that I would do is the first thing that I did once we had this tool. I went and found all the little nooks and crannies where I had my prompts, copied and saved. Took them all, popped them in there. It's free. Like I don't have to worry about, I'm going to lose all my prompts. You're never going to. No, it's not going to happen. So now I've got my own prompt library built on a platform that I don't have to leave the prompt library to go and copy that or do any kind of like API integrations on my own. It's all been done for you so that you can very easily get the benefit of the environment that we've created for prompt intelligence, for sharing your prompts, for learning about prompts. And coming soon, I guess I won't mention that. I'll mention that on day 3. We've got some other cool functionality that we're using internally that we're about to roll out for all of you. Great place to start. See it and just test it. Get used to using some tools. So with that, I want to give you your homework for today. So we're going to share the screen real quick. Okay. One more time. The recordings, chiefaiofficer.com/VIP upgrade. We're going to have the replays will be available in the Facebook group till Sunday. After that, we pull them down. If you want to use these ongoing, you will want the recordings because you won't be able to get access to the replays. Now, let me talk about some homework here. It's easy. Look, the purpose of this challenge is to get you using AI at work. Some of the case studies, some of the examples we gave you, you probably said, oh, we could use that. We can do that, right? So if you don't have these accounts set up already, go and set up the free version. ChatGPT, Perplexity, 11 Labs, HeyGen, Fathom, and Cassidy, right? Set them up. You don't have to go and transform your business today, but take the first step. And I think once you get in there and just make a commitment to say, look, I'm going to spend a few minutes kind of navigating around each one of those. I'll watch the demo video or whatever. You don't have to commit to some like deep immersion in each of these tools. I think that you'll find that they have application in certain contexts for your business, depending on what it is, but that they're not that hard to use. And the free account, you've got nothing to lose. You're here. You've invested in yourself to learn this stuff, right? So take a little action. All we're asking you to do today. Oh, and one more thing, go subscribe to the podcast, Using AI at Work. And I'll tell you why. On that podcast, all I'm doing is I'm interviewing people that are in creative and clever ways. They're using generative AI in their business, in certain departments of their business, whatever it is. The reason I do that is because if some of this is new to you, I mean, listen, I've been doing this for a while and I learned something every single episode. I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought about that way, right? Even so, I saw some of the people that we've got some folks that are well skilled in AI usage in this. I saw the comments in the Facebook thread. Even you will learn. We just can't fathom all of the use cases, right? Even you will go, oh, that's pretty clever, right? So if you want to start getting just repetitions of how are people doing this? How are they using AI at work? How are they, like, this is where you're going to get it. Using AI at Work is the podcast. We'll post in the Facebook comments here your homework of setting up the accounts. Again, free accounts are totally fine. But I think that if you think that you could use one of these, you could use it. You just need to figure out how. It's not that difficult. Happy to answer questions. If you get here a little early for tomorrow, I'll have the mic open for the first 5 minutes before we get started and give you the chance to ask any questions. Scovey, you got any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to sort something out. I got a few questions coming in. So I think I might have responded to Jamal's question. If you want to read Suzanne, that might be not related to the prompt vault, and you can answer that in a minute. But anyways, I can read it out otherwise. So Jamal and Bill were asking about the credit system. So right now, the credits are not, you can't buy more credits. We're in early stage beta, which means we're only allowing in, a small groups of people at a time, a few hundred users at a time, to allow us to, test the software. By all means, if you do find any bugs, or you just like go, oh, I wish this feature was there, it would be so much more powerful if it did X or Y. There's a pink sidebar tab that says feedback, and we love hearing from you. If you click on that and you put in, any ideas, notes, or whatever you've got, that'll actually has a direct connection to a Slack channel that goes to our team and our programmers. But right now, you can only get 1,000 credits at start, and the only way to get more credits is 2 ways. One, you can refer people, which if you refer like a few people, that's getting 2, 3, 4,000 credits. I think it's 3,000 or 2,000. You get some credit for referring them, and they get some bonus credit for signing up under you. So I don't remember if it's 3 or 2 in your favor, but either case, that is a way that you can earn credits. And in addition, for graduates of or people who enroll in our certificate program, because we talk a lot about what's going on, and we use this tool in the Chief AI Officer training program, we do give all the graduates 250,000 credits. So then that basically solves your problem. You're not stuck with just 1,000 credits. So hopefully that answers any questions that were outstanding. And Chris, did you respond in the chat, or what was going on with the other?
So Karen, the URL was promptvault.studio/begin. That will get you into the, you won't have to sit on the wait list. Let's see here. Suzanne, I got back to you. Absolutely. I put my scheduling link in my reply, so you and I can get on the call and we can discuss. I'd love to be a guest on your show for sure. And happy to share stuff. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Please feel free to post them. If you forgot what your homework is, don't worry. I'm going to be posting that in this thread so that you will be able to take advantage of. I think we've got that with Fathom. You jump the wait list, and with Perplexity, if you go live, if you go with the pro account, you get $10. I get $10, a little bit of a credit. So with that, if there's any other
let me just say one more thing, Chris. So if this is only day 1 of the challenge, and if you think you got great information today, tomorrow you're going to be blown away. So make sure you're here. To be early is to be on time. And if you think giving away free software is cool, we've got something else coming for you tomorrow. So you're really going to like it.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this stuff, and it's the fun part for us is helping people have that. Oh, like, oh my, this is AI, right?
See AI. Oh,
right. So today we talked about tools. Tomorrow we're going to talk about, okay, now that I got some tools that I like to use, where do I get started? Right. We're going to walk you through a very simple framework that, even though it's simple, it's pretty much the same starting place, even in big enterprises. We've made it so that you can figure out probably within about 10 to 15 minutes some good places to start using AI at work. That's tomorrow. So we'll be walking through that tomorrow. Otherwise, if you have questions, you can ask them in the Facebook thread. And with that, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It was a blast to educate you, and it looks like we've got some real AI enthusiasts here. Anything in closing, Segovia?
No, just the replays will be posted. If not, I think some of the channels, they're instant replays, depending on the streaming platform. We might have to post it after the fact, but the replays will be available for any time duration over the 3 days of the challenge. And then all the replays will be pulled off, and the only people that will have access to them beyond that are the people that do the upgrade. So chiefaiofficer.com/VIP-upgrade will get you the replays if you want to revisit the content or share it with somebody else.
All right, folks.
In your team.
Go prompt.
Yep.
Go
Great.
prompt.
Thanks.
Okay. See you tomorrow. Same time.
See you tomorrow.
Take care, everybody.